Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. And today it is episode 50 of The Rant. Garbage in, garbage out. Hello. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm Jade. This is How to App on iOS. And yeah, you're doing okay out there. I know it's Sunday for most of you in the rest of the world or in the other places outside of where I live. So I hope you're having a relaxing, enjoyable one, and whatever you've needed to get done has been done and you're happy and safe. And if not, hopefully I can rant away your displeasure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ready for another big week here on the channel. And let's say hello to you all. We've got the Rise of Dark Lilo's looking for some garbage to throw in your mouth. Nice. No, it does not. Urban, nothing to do with the band Garbage. Chad Freeman, hello. And Barry Glenn and Joe Glenn, of course, the Glens. And who else? Falcro, what's happening? Good to see you. If you're in the chat, let us know that you're here. Or don't. Just stay silent. That's all good too. Hugh Caldwell, hello. Good times abound. Lots of fun stuff coming up this week. So much fun stuff. I don't even know what it is yet. I love it. This new found freedom on this channel has been very invigorating because I'm only just working out what I'm going to do tomorrow here on the channel. I used to have everything always organized, but no, things have changed. Hello, Russ. What is happening? Russ, my old mucker, and of course, Thomas, the Christ. That didn't even make sense. Thank you, Thomas, for slinging the links. Yes, you can join the Patreon, all that kind of stuff. Wow. All righty. Let's cover a couple of things before we get into Ranty Rant Face. And Robert Redmond's clip, hello. Lorcazola, hello. And cover by CQ, hello. Okay, so what is happening? Lux, hello as well. What is happening this week on the channel? Tomorrow, last week we'd looked at making thumbnails. And somebody had the absolute gall to say to me, how dare you do a show where all you did was make your own thumbnails for the week? Because that's what it's all about. But tomorrow I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. But I'm going to do it with you guys. And you can come and join me for the pain. Come join me for the pain. I'm going to clean my iPad. No, not with one of these cleaning cloths. No, I don't mean physically clean it. I'm going to go through the 800 apps on my iPad and I'm going to remove half of them and delete them forever. Gone. And just talk about storage and management and keeping your devices clean, because it is a very good idea, because there's nothing worse than when you're getting ready to record a project or do something and then you go to do it and there's no space and it just kills your flow. So when you're in a place of transitional period where you're not actually doing anything, it's a good time to go and do that stuff. So I'm going to walk through some of the joyous things that we get with iCloud, because iCloud is a very great system. Really is. I love it so much. Awesome. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Also, going to continue on finishing up the song that I've been working on of Adam Burse's song. It's virtually done now. It's all mastered. It's ready to go. And we're going to start work on the video clip this week and hopefully have it all released by the end of this week. And we have a special interview this week because our dear friend Russ 8889 is coming on. He just dropped a big thank you video for everybody who helped donate to Russ's cause for his iPad. And I thought, you know what? Get the old mucker on. Get him on. Let's have a talk about some stuff, and we'll have him on this week. Plus, there will be a shit ton of app reviews. Also, I've already got one of them done, and there'll probably be about 5 or 6 app reviews, pre-recorded app reviews that drop at a different time to this daily show. So what are we going to rant about today? I need to just preface this with some things. I need to hey, Brad Example. Hey, it's Brad Example. It's Brad Example. If you didn't know that's his name, Brad Example. It's Brad Example, just letting you all know. Hi, Ron, on Jenny's phone, because yours is shit. That's a really long name. Oh, sorry, it's Jenny. Sorry, Jenny. I thought Jenny from the block was a confusing name, but it's Jenny on Rob's phone because mine is shit. I don't know how you go signing signatures with that name, Jenny. That's a very long name. Tom says, that's my Mac at all times. What can I sacrifice to make room for creating something new? Absolutely. The battle is real, folks, and it doesn't have to be iOS. You know, it's everything these days takes up space. Takes up room, you know, and there just doesn't seem to be enough of it. All right, so what are we ranting about today? The title of the show is Garbage In, Garbage Out. But if you pay attention to what I'm holding in my mouth, no, it's not a dildo. It's actually a microphone. But a lot of what I'm going to talk about is the same thing, garbage in, garbage out. It is in relation to vocals. Now, being somebody who's been a vocalist for a long time, and I've taught many people the beginnings of their vocal career, and have been, I don't know, accused by some before I did this show back in the day of teaching vocals of being a little bit avant-garde the way that I taught vocals, because get this, right? I not only like to teach breathing and scales and understanding, you know, your range and your pit, the best key for you to be in, and all of this kind of stuff, and throat singing and chest singing and singing from your diaphragm and all of this stuff. But I used to like to teach people about health, because being a vocalist is more than just singing. It is about your health. If you are not healthy and you are eating a load of crap, well, most of the time your vocals are going to sound like shit. They really are, because you are the instrument. A guitar is a completely different thing, right? You can pick it up, you can hold it, you can restring it to give it that, you know, va-voom sound, that brand new sound, and you can buy new pickups for it. Do all the things to make a guitar sing, and when it is not sounding good, you can go fix it yourself, watch some YouTube videos if you want, or take it to a luthier and get an expert to look at it, and then when you get it back, it's a brand new guitar, right? And you can mold that guitar sound to what you want. But with a vocalist, the same with a drummer too. You remove your skins, replace your skins, rearrange your drum kits, update your cymbals, all this stuff you can do for instruments that will help revitalize, you know. But with vocals, it's a little bit different, because you are the instrument. You're a living, breathing thing. Your emotions, and I know this is going to shock a lot of people, right? But like, because I hear this all the time, facts over feelings, right? But as human beings, we inherently are filled with feelings. And no matter how many times somebody tells you, no, feelings, yes, we have them. And yes, they're hard to control. And yes, we don't understand them. For as long as we've been around, and the eons we've studied ourselves, and the failed frontal lobotomies we've given people to cure depression back in the day. They were some times, were they? I tell you what, whenever somebody says to you at any time soon, the good old days, just say, yeah, when frontal lobotomies were given for somebody who was feeling a little bit sad, Remember those days? I'm so glad we don't live in those days. They used to take an ice pick and put it through your eye and hammer it in just because you had a bad day. And guess what you were like after that? You're a Mongo. You were gone. Hello, Princess LDG and Tremor Bear. Sounds fun. I'll tell you what, there's some people around who probably need one of those right now. Who knows? Maybe we should reintroduce the ice pick in the eyeball. But no, this is, hey, Michael Thompson as well. Good to see you. And Wolfstone Studio is in the house. Hello, hello, hello. So no, we are living human beings and our emotions dictate the way we do things sometimes. You know, we want to be focused, laser focused on the things that we want to get done, but you can't, those emotions, they're all over the top. They're all over the place and they can really tear you down. And it's really hard to be able to get them in check and be able to focus on things. But all these things come together, what you eat, the way you sleep, your health, if you're like pushing the button, pushing the boundary all the time, going hard all the time, there's got to be some kind of release, some kind of off switch, you know. Always say, it's like, think about a balloon. You know those balloons that terrifying clowns use at children's parties, and they're like the long balloons, and they'll tie them up and they'll turn them into a dog and go, look, it's a dog, right? I think of the human body as one of those balloons because you're going to push air into it to fill it up. But then as you start manipulating it and moving it around, the air's got to go somewhere, right? It's got to go somewhere within that structure of that sausage balloon, and we're like that. And, you know, one false twist when you're trying to push too much pressure on it and it's going to bang, it's going to explode. And that's us, you know. You put so much pressure on ourselves and we try to do, and I'm guilty of it 100%. Trust me, this is not a lecture. I want to make sure you all understand I'm not lecturing you today. I'm just free thinking, free ranting and just saying the shit that's in my mind for the last week. Hello, Sean Chandler. You've been on my mind this week. You are always on my mind. Anyway, but look, it's got to go somewhere. And as a vocalist, all of these things affect the way we perform. And if you're a vocalist who doesn't have any or hasn't spent any time trying to understand the insides. Now, this is the hard thing about explaining vocals to people, teaching people vocals, right? Because you know when you can feel inside your own body when you've pushed yourself too hard, when something's happened and you feel something break. Like, or when you're sick, you feel, ooh, that was not good, whatever popped inside of me. So we all know those things, but it's not always easy to convey that to somebody who's not inside your body. You know, even though we are the same, we are bags of blood, bone, and water that's full of emotions that we can't control. And sometimes we break for no apparent reason. And hey, hello, there's my friend Mike Shana Music. Really bad vocals are like an ice pick in my ears. That is true. That is true, but we're going to get to that, I'll tell you what. So all these things come together, and it's very hard to explain. So even teaching people vocals sometimes is very hard to explain. The things that happen within your vocal cords, what to feel, because I can't get inside of you, even though sometimes I really, 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 really want to get inside of you. You can't do it. We can't physically do it, that kind of thing, to really understand. It's not like we can be shrunk down and put in, leave Sarah Bland, Sarah Bland, Chad, I called her Sarah Bland. If anything, Sarah Brand is not so bland after all, because she has taken us all for a ride, and apparently, see, this is the thing about Sarah Brand. She said after that song came out, after her Red Dress song came out, if you haven't heard Sarah Brand, folks, you really should go listen to her song Red Dress. It's a fine example of how not to sing. But she has come out later on and said, oh, it was all a joke. I was just doing it. It's all just fun. And that's, I don't know, man. That's, it's very easy to say. So, thank you, Seagull, Rock Squawk. Hey, it's another person I see on Rachel's Ghost all the time. The reason now, what got me kicked off on this thing today, we'll go back to the health thing. The reason that kicked me off on this today is because last week I reviewed an app by 4Pockets called Mellavox. And what Mellavox does is it creates harmony vocals for yourself. And there's a really interesting thing with vocal apps, with vocal software. There seems to be this notion, right, that people see, oh, vocal software, and they go, oh, that will fix my voice. No, 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 no. Nothing will fix your voice. It won't fix your voice. And I don't know what it is about vocal things around vocals that people just are unwilling to go and learn and get better. Instead, it's like, oh, a vocal app. Well, that will help me sound better. No, you can help yourself sound better. Because here's the thing. A vocal app that will add harmonies to your voice is just going to do that. It's not going to make you sound better. So if you sound shite, all those harmonies are going to sound shite as well. And that's just the fucking harsh reality of it. And I can't do anything about it for you. So, like, and things like auto-tune and all these things, they're shortcuts. And they're not going to, in the long run, give you the satisfaction and the ultimate pleasure of literally, like, ultimately learning these things and singing better. But they can help. They can help. And I think that's the thing that we forget about these apps. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't really use a lot of vocal things like harmonies or like, auto-tunes or stuff like that, because they do turn the voice kind of manufactured. And there's so much manufactured music out there these days that is so auto-tuned and all that stuff. I want to still be old school. I'm just old school. That's just the way it is. Now, I'm going to open up this app to show you what I'm talking about. Now, when I did the review of this app, it took me a while to find a song that I had for this to sound actually okay. Because let me show it to you so I can understand, because it's hard to understand the cry of a voice. And to regenerate for a software to take the human voice and take a cry. And to me, a cry, if you can get a cry in your voice, and I'll explain what a cry is if you don't know what I'm talking about. So here we've got this song. Turn off the vocals here. So I know you've heard this song a million times. This is The Fight. So now the song, this app, so here's Mellavox here. And this creates harmonies. You can have up to 5 tracks of harmonies. You can do a third, you can do a fifth, a seventh, second, you can do a full octave. So a third is a semitone up. So you can go 2 semitones, 3 semitones, 7 semitones, 5 semitones, and it creates that effect that you are creating vocal harmonies. And it's a great trick, this thing, but ultimately what it is and what it isn't is, now, and all these apps are the same, so you've got to understand this. What they all are pitch shifters, and to some degree, they are taking the original signal of your voice and they're changing the pitch. So when changing the pitch, it's going to lose quality. And the great thing what Paul has done with this app is he's added this button here called formant preservation. And that's what happens when you use an artificial piece of software to take your voice. You are altering the formant of the voice. So I'm going to play. I'm going to just focus on this chorus, right? So I'm going to do this, grab from here, and just draw in, because it's just the chorus. And I'll tell you why I'm focusing on the chorus, because when I put this on the verse, it doesn't sound good. And that's because of the way I'm singing in the verse, right? So first, let's make this full screen so you can see what's happening. Of course, it's decided to stop playing. because we're live. There we go. I know I'm a fighter. I keep fighting till the end. I'll always be a fighter. There's so much to defend. I know it's just another day. Don't let a moment go to waste. I feel it every single day. The fight goes on and on. Right, so the reason I'm showing you this is, and I want to explain this now. Just let me be clear. I'm not shitting on anybody whose vocal abilities aren't up to a certain standard, right? We're all at different levels. Everybody starts at different levels. And you know what? The great news is everyone can get better if you want to. Like it's always on you if you want to get better, right? So this is not an attack on anybody, and this is not an attack on these apps, right? Because these apps, the technology is it's sensational, right? But you'll notice now with this particular app here, if you follow, now I know this song is in a C major scale, and why I chose this song for the demo, it's very important that I be very clear about this. And I think this is a problem with demonstrations of all vocal apps, that people don't explain it, and I probably should have explained it in my video. I chose a particular section of the song where I'm hitting the note on the note. I know it's just, I'm hitting every note very precisely, because when you're singing, all singers, no matter how good they are, whatever, there are different ways of singing. There's very pronounced ways of hitting each note in that scale and following those notes. And there's also vocals that can slide to notes. Now, that's where things like this don't work very well, because you're sliding from, say, within a C scale, you're sliding from like a D to an F. And the software, it's an algorithm, and it's initially a pitch shifter with an algorithm on top of it to try and smooth that stuff out and try and make the transition from that D to an F, and it struggles, and that's where it starts to sound robotic, right? So this is always going to be a thing, because an algorithm or a pitch shifter, it's not the human voice. It doesn't have the amazing flexibility and the undefinable characteristics of a vocal that when you hear a vocal that resonates with you, you just, oh man, and it makes you cry, or it makes you sing for joy, or it makes you angry, or whatever it does. The vocal is so much different than an algorithm, and so it struggles to always make a great vocal when you're using a harmonizer. And yes, I do agree here, Nippleback. Harmonizers are really only used for in a live setting. You haven't got background singers. They can work perfect. But where they're really perfect is when, say you are a singer and you have the ability to use vibrato, right? Or you do a lot of sliding between notes when you sing. It's going to struggle in those situations, but where they do work is when you pull back your vocal style and sing very pronounced notes within that scale. And that's why I chose this song, because the way I sing the chorus is very pronounced. And how can you see that? Well, look up the top here. So with this particular app, this is just a great way to show you how it works, because you have the scale, C major. We've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B. They're all the notes. And watch when I play this back, you'll see my voice hitting these notes hard. I know I'm a fighter. Right, now, see, as soon as I had vibrato on that last note, whoa, it's bouncing between these two, and that's where it starts to break down and struggle. It's just a thing. It's not anything against the app. It's just the human voice is very, very... Play it again. I know I'm a fighter. other thing this thing is going to do that's very cruel is if you are slightly, even slightly off pitch, it's harsh, man. It is going to be relentless and really expose you for sounding bloody terrible. And so this is the problem. And I think a lot of people go into buying an app like this going, oh, it's going to make me sound better. And then they don't hit those notes the way this app wants you to hit those notes. You have to be precise. And if you watch a lot of demos for any vocal app, unless it's like Melodyne, where you're totally moving vocals around, but even that, the more you move vocals around, they break down and you get that aliasing sound, the kind of sound that every song that Suno produces sounds like. You get that artifact-y kind of sound because, you know, the voice is such an interesting instrument that even recording it, this is why people put so much like effort into what's the best microphone, because you want a microphone that's going to catch the clarity of the voice, because the voice is such an amazing tool. It really is. I mean, if it's just speaking or reading, I mean, we all love a good voice. We all love a great podcast voice, you know, or you love it. There are ads out there in television that just the speaking voice of the ad has stayed with us forever because of the tone and the way it makes you feel. So it's not only singing, that the voice is so amazing. From audible books, audible books, where they, you know, pay a celebrity with a lush voice to read these books to you. Sometimes it can make the book even a more amazing experience. So with this app, here we are, and look, let's go back, and I'm going to play you the original vocal. Let's turn this thing off. Let's turn it off. So yeah, the movie voice going, coming to a theater near you, Joe Blow with the anal crew, whatever. So I'm going to turn this effect off and play you the vocals that I recorded. Right, I've pretty much got the same vocal here. Let's play it without the effect. I know I'm a fighter. I keep fighting till the end. Now I'm going to expose myself and play these backing vocals. They're not perfect. They're all over the place. Listen. I know I'm a fighter. I keep fighting. They're far from perfect, and they're not. They're floating around. Then, you know, and that's okay. This is why double tracking is such a popular thing when recording vocals. Double tracking is your magic weapon. They don't have to, trust me, if you're going to record vocals, don't just take a vocal and then just copy it down onto the next track and move it a little bit. I know it kind of sounds all right, and it's like, I don't have the time, but take the time to actually record the second vocal underneath, because it's the differences in the two takes, even if they're just off by a little second, right? Just off by a second, that sometimes make moments when all the vocals are put together that you just go, oh, that sounded so cool. And it resonates with your body and your heart and your soul, and you get goosebumps, because how do you recreate this stuff? But the voice does it. And sometimes when you're doing takes like this with, you know, 4 vocal tracks, oh, don't record over that, fool. I did it again, look. I know I'm a fighter. I keep fighting till the end. I'll always be a fighter. There's so much to defend. I know it's just another day. Don't let a moment go to waste. I feel it every single day. The fight goes on and on. Right? It's hard to explain. We're at the halfway point. What I can explain to you, though, is that every day on the channel, on the live stream, we run an ad. And if you'd like to avoid the ad, you can wait for the magic skip button and press that and avoid the ad and then come back to us, or just become a YouTube Premium subscriber. The ad has been run, and we'll wait for those who may or may not get an ad to get one of those. Yes, look, there's lots of different ways you can record vocals. Leave those tracks till the end of the session when you're really warm. Absolutely. We'll talk a little bit more about you really should be warming up. I don't warm up enough. Hello, Ed B. Hello, Secret Legacy. Poet, I didn't know it. Greg O'Sullivan, did I say hi to you? I can't remember. Mike Shannon says, I usually sing my second vocal to my first. But just did one without listening to the first, and it turned out cooler sounding. Differences are good. Yes, it's nice. Like, I think even when I first learnt the double recording trick in the studio, because, back in the day, I didn't have a home studio. I used to pay way too much money to go into a recording studio with an engineer. And the first time it was said to me, oh, yeah, so you've done that vocal, we're going to double track that now. I was like, what is double tracking? And went in there, and I listened to it back and was like, oh, man, it sounds so off. And he was like, just wait till you hear it in the mix. Because the interesting thing is, even when you listen, you know this, you all know this, if you've recorded vocals or sung at any time into a DAW, when you listen to naked vocals, it's hard to listen to. It sounds like shite. Even the best singers sit there and go, oh, man, cringe. But sometimes what makes that double tracking so good of just the main vocal, it's not that it's not that they're perfect. They're slightly off and different, and there's slightly different frequencies in there, but it's when all the other instruments come in and all those other frequencies, sometimes you just get this unexplainable magic that the frequencies of the guitar and everything else mixed with that double take just creates some sonic thing that is impossible to explain. And it is. It's like this too. So this is impossible to explain as well with vocals. And this is the hardest thing when you're trying to teach people vocals. And it's one of the things I used to love teaching people vocals is how to, you want to know your breaking point of your vocal, your range. You want to know the key that suits your voice, that you sing your best in. These are things that you should know. You should know the breaking point. You should know, understand octaves within a scale, and understand possibly how many octaves before you start to break, low and high, because you can use the breaking point of your vocal to your advantage to create things that make a voice unique. And I don't hear enough people talking about this, and hear me out, right? When you know what the breaking point of your voice is, that's when you can get this point in a vocal. And I wish there was a way I could rip my throat open right now and show you all my vocal cords, how they work. It's very hard to explain, but you'll know it. You'll know it because, individually, this is so hard to explain. You will know because you'll feel it. You'll feel it hurt, and you'll hear the crack in your voice, and that was a struggle. And sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's painful to your ears. But understanding where that voice breaks, you can use that to perform things like a cry, right? And we've all heard that. You hear it in country music a lot too, where the voice actually snaps, and it breaks into like a cry, almost like a falsetto thing. And that's the moment in a song when your heart breaks, and you know it, man. Country music does it so well, right? They hit that chorus and their vocal gets that, and they just crack the voice and just breaks into this falsetto for a second and comes back. But these are the things that are really important. And this comes back to garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what comes out. And you need to be 100% aware of what's going in and what's going out, because you need to be aware of your breaking point, and you need to know that. And, another thing about vocals, which I need to talk about, look, the balloon thing is, I go back to the balloon thing often when I used to teach vocals. It's the same with, All right, well, I was going to say is this, like, it's the same with like putting negative bullshit like media and stuff into your face all the time, and putting all this negative stuff in. And it's the same with putting positive stuff all the time into your face, right? And viewing all this positive and trying to be all the positive all the time. It's not going to work, man. You've got to be that balloon, and you've got to have a piece where you can break off and get rid of some of that. Like if you're a super positive, we've all met these people, right? Every time you meet them, they're like fucking so positive. It's like you almost sit there going, I hope you get leprosy just so I can see how you deal with it. Because you can't be positive all the time, and you can't be negative all the time. You've got to have some kind of outlet, or that balloon is just it's going to explode, and it's going to come out in a really bad way. And this is how serial killers happen. This is how mass shootings happen, yeah? Because people bottle this stuff inside their fucking human bodies way too long, and there's no outlet for it. So it comes out in ways we don't want to know. Right? And it does work both ways. People who are so... Look at American Psycho. People they're so positive, put out this outward image of it. So, I'm so good at everything. And behind closed doors, they're fucking chopping people up. You know, the TV show Dexter is a perfect example of this kind of thing, how... On the outside, there's all this joy. There's somebody who's very important and very meticulous and does, but seriously, underneath, the dark passenger. That is what I like to call it. G'day, Pete Johns. Speaking of serial killers, Pete Johns, everybody, he's up next, and he's not a serial killer. All right, at all. I'm joking. It's a joke. Jokes, folks. Ready? See, there's a drum roll, so it's a joke. But no, Pete Johns is up next with Your Music Live. But yeah, things have to go somewhere, right? And it's the same with your vocals. But being able to get that cry in your voice, do these things with your voice, and there's no way to teach this stuff. This all comes down to you. There's no way for me to teach you what's the best thing for you to eat. Right? Because we're all completely different. The diet that I have could be the diet that puts you in the ground. The diet that you have is doing well for you, but it could kill me. We all have different needs, different dietary needs, and different things that make us function so much better. Because you know what? I know this is going to be a news flash, and I know this is hard for a lot of people to understand, especially in our weird political place that we are at the moment. But we're all different, and it's a good thing. It's actually a good thing, right? Could you imagine if we're all the same? It'd be so boring. Good God. And the thing that we are all different, and we all have our place, and we all, so our differences are what makes us stronger. And it's the same with, the way we sing, because we have different breaking points of our vocal. And I have people all the time say to me, how do you sing and do that death metal cookie monster stuff? Because I know the breaking point of my voice. I understand my voice so well. I've spent so long working on my voice and understanding what it takes to get to that cookie monster voice and then get back to the singing voice. And I know the breaking point. I know how far I can go. And you learn tricks along the way of how to achieve, like I could do a death metal growl. There used to be this particular death metal growl I used to do, right? I used to call it the bark. Let me show you it. I use this microphone here so I don't blow out your eardrums. I used to call this growl the bark. Right? And notice how I have to put my head back to do it. Like I'm opening up my vocal cords, and I'm actually, see, again, you can't see what's happening inside my throat. It's a very throaty kind of growl. And I'm almost pushing them open and against. It's like something, it's very painful. It actually hurts to do it, right? It's not normal to do this kind of voice. But again, the reason doing this kind of voice is it's different than most other growls. And I like having a range of growls because people think the growling is not like, doesn't take talent. But of course there are different growls. But what it does take talent is to understand not to hurt yourself. right? And it takes a little while to get used to it. And then you got like the deep ones. But you'll notice a lot of it's around your facial features and the way you move your mouth and vowel things and all this kind of stuff to the and that bark growl. Let me get back here. And when I would do that bark growl live in a band setting, I started blacking out on stage. I actually started blacking out. And I would get lightheaded and fall over. I'd see stars because what I'm doing is not good. I'm virtually cutting off the air. It's like straining for taking a shit. But you, instead of pushing through your bum muscles, you're using your throat, right? So I had to find a new way to do that growl, that particular growl. And it took a long time. So there are techniques to do these. And again, they're very hard, but where it comes down to is understanding your voice. Now, I just want to show you something else with getting back to the point of these vocal apps, because we see it all the time, man. We see it all the time. People saying, oh, what if I just put auto-tune on everything? Look, auto-tune is a fantastic tool to use for your vocal. But ultimately, it is always better to just learn. And even that app we looked at just before, what's great about that app is you get to use it as an educational tool. And I forget to mention this on shows as well. So if we solo this, we'll do this one more time. Here's this vocal take one more time. Come over here. Because guess what I can do? I can play this now. If it doesn't quit on me. I know I'm a fighter. I keep fighting till the end. I'll always be a fighter. What I can do is I can solo these things. Now, you see how it's not perfect. It still sounds manufactured, but in a mix, you're not going to notice that stuff, right? So they do work well enough. But what you can get from this is learn harmonies. Actually learn what harmonies are, right? Because a lot of us struggle with harmonies. We don't understand what is the harmony. What is the third of my vocal that I'm singing? What is the key? What is the scale that I'm in? But these apps can be very, very helpful for you to take your voice to the next level. As you can see here, I've muted. So we have a third here only running. Let's play it again. I know I'm a fighter. Bring in the original. I keep fighting till the end. Or bring in the fifth. I'll always be a fighter. There's so much. So these things can really help you understand what a fifth is, what a second, and you can understand. So you can really get a good idea of how to find those harmonies. So in a way, you don't need to buy an app like this to use it in a mix. But I'll tell you what, very handy if you sung a song and you're like, all right, I want to do harmonies now. Add this on and then sing along to that harmony and do it yourself. Yeah, do it yourself, because guess what? It's always going to sound better when it's coming from your voice. It always will, yeah? Because at the end of the day, like no matter how much magic Paul has put into this app and added this form and presentation, because, you know, let's just show you. If I turn off this form and preservation and we'll play these harmonies. I know I'm a fighter. I keep. They're going to sound like chipmunks, right? And that is the thing where a real vocal will always sound not like a chipmunk. That is it. Even with the form and preservation on there, it takes a bit of that chipmunk stuff out, but, you know, it is best to do it. So if you're going to buy an app like this, use it to learn. Use it to learn. And you know, again, you can use it in a mix, low in that mix, but a good opportunity to learn about your vocals. See, now when I was going to do the demo for this, I actually was going to use it on a Pete Johns song, and look, Pete Johns is here. But sometimes I just found it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do with Pete's voice, because it's not going to work on every single fucking vocal. That's just what it is. Here we got this song, Anxiety. I'll play it. Yes, sing along with it and then you hit it. That's perfect, Secret Legacy. Oh. Why is this sped up? Oh, that was weird sounding. Hang on a minute. What's going on? Has anybody seen? Oh, I know why that is. That's good. It's because I have other apps open and they are at 48 kilohertz. There we go. So just so you know, I've put it on the vocal, on the chorus of this. So you can see I've split the track. So I put it on this track. So let's have a listen. Even when you're feeling good, that something else will come around the bell. Oh, fucking hell. What's going on with this app? Why is it crashing? Dude. Something else will come around the bell. And I'm always thinking, always trying to hold on. Now, I couldn't get this to work, and it's in the right. I see, and well, that's why it's in the wrong key. It reset. Sorry. So it's in a D major. Now this should sound better. And I'm always thinking, always trying to hold on. And I always fear that something else will go wrong. But before anything else, again, this just shows if Pete had this, put it on, listen to those harmonies, he's going to get an idea and he's always going to do it better. So it's just my opinion. And look, what sparked this whole thing was I had some messages from people after I did this app, and people were like, I bought this thing and, you know, it didn't make my voice sound better. And I was like, it's not. This isn't a fix. This is not a repair job. Like, and tell you what, if you're fucking living your life making music, right, and everything is just another Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid on top of another, guess what? Eventually, you're going to run out of Band-Aids and you're going to be left with a pile of steam and shit. Get better. Take some time to get better. Spend some time, instead of like pushing to get another song out to make sure you get on Hippie's show or Thomas's show this week. Take a little bit more time. There's plenty of fucking YouTube videos out there. There's plenty of people out there teaching techniques and encouraging you to get better, and even use the combination of these apps to make your voice better and better. There's no time like now to get better. And you know what? We're all learning things every day. I am not in any... The day I think I know it all is the day I hope I'm dead, because God damn, there's so much to learn, and there's so many exciting things to embrace day by day and be better than you were the day before. So, you know, don't be looking at these tools as something to fix you. You're not broken, right? it's such a sad thing. When I see I bought this app to fix my voice, it's like, but you're not broken. You just you haven't explored the full depth of like the key. You don't have all the keys to unlock all the powers that are within you. You're definitely not broken. Like, in a world that seems broken all the time, right? It comes down to this. It's only broken if you keep putting shit inside of you. If you keep watching all the crap and all the rubbish and putting all that rubbish inside you, guess what? You're just going to be full of rubbish. It's exactly, don't fall into the bin effect, right? We've all got bins in our houses, and what do we put in them? We put rubbish in them. And what happens when they're full? We get rid of them. We're the same. we're exactly the same as a garbage bin. The more rubbish you put inside, the more full of rubbish you're going to get. And eventually you're going to have to clean that stuff out. And it can, over time, putting so much rubbish in becomes I'll just get something to fix myself. And, you're not broken. And the world's not broken, and there is hope always. And you can become a better singer. You can become a better everything. And that's the point. It just upsets me so much to see people purchasing things to fix themselves, right? And there's so many vocalists out there whose vocals don't appeal to everybody, right? Like Bob Dylan, I can't stand that motherfucker. It just sounds like somebody moaning into a pillow every time I hear him sing. That doesn't mean that he's not a good singer. It just means he doesn't resonate with me, right? Kurt Cobain changed the world with his vocals. And folks, Kurt Cobain knew that breaking point of it. He's a perfect example of a vocalist who understands his breaking point. Hi, Chris Lane Sr. Good to see you. Chris Lane Sr. You didn't sing for Nirvana, did you? No. Kurt Cobain really understood the breaking point of his vocal and didn't give a shit. And you can hear it. His voice breaks in so many songs when he sings live. And you can take it down two paths and go, wow, that guy can't sing. Do you hear how bad he was live? Or you can take it as far out, man. It's the breaking. It's the understanding of the voice breaking and being torn apart that makes it, like, it all depends on how you take it in. Take it in as negative. Say, he can't sing. And guess what? That's putting rubbish in. And look, so much of what we put in our heads at the moment is rubbish. It's just garbage. There's so much anger and so much. I think all our brains are broken from the internet. I saw somebody say this the other day, and it was on Fox News, believe it or not. I know, right? Fox News actually saying something that has value, but it was any news saying anything of value. It was about walking outside the house and just going outside and looking around at people. And guess what? All the shit that we read, all the garbage, all the negative stuff that we see here on the internet, it's not happening outside, right? When we open the door and go outside, people aren't sitting there in parks or on a train going, you like Donald Trump, you're this, you're trans. People aren't doing that. It's not fucking real. On the internet, guess what? That's where it all is. That's where the brain-broken, brain-melting poison is. And we're so locked into this stuff that we're at the point now where, as vocalists, performers, we think we're broken and we need things to fix what we're doing. And it's like, no, we just got to, like, understand who we are. Focus on ourselves. Be yourself. Be 100% honest with yourself. Be who you are. Express it. Don't carry around a dark passenger is the point. Dark passengers lead to Dexter. Or Joe Rogan, where you end up being a man transitioning into a trans man. Think about it. How did I get there? Fuck, these rants are stupid. Why are you watching this, everybody? Ultimately, why I do this every week, the rant, is things get on my tits every week. And I try and talk about them with you all and try and be funny and entertaining. But at the end of these episodes, try and remind you all that you're all awesome. We're all unique. We're all individuals. And guess what? Don't buy into this nonsense that continues to be shoved down our throats everywhere we turn, that we're not good enough and we shouldn't be who we are and we should bury these things. Just live life like you're singing with your outside voice, yeah? That's the way. Because guess what? You can tell when somebody's singing with their inside voice. You can tell. It sounds soulless, it sounds weak, and it sounds like they're living in fear. When people sing with their inside voice, when they're home recording and they're scared that their loved ones might hear them sing and you're singing that la, la, la. If you live like you're singing with your inside voice, oh man, it's it's not going to be a fun life. But if you live like you're singing with your outside voice, and you're singing like you mean it, and you live like you mean it, and you believe who you are and all that stuff, man, good things happen. And you won't be as brain broken as what we all are sitting on the internet. All right, I think I've had enough ranting. Thank you for hanging out and listening to me talk a load of nonsense. Thank you for participating in the chat, because all of your opinions are absolutely valid. And I love watching you all sit here type. And I know I don't get to a lot of the comments because I'm on a tear. Next week, you know what we're going to do? I think we're going to do a rant about next week. How to use a search engine. Because guess what? You can find it yourself, you know. Just with a bit of patience. You don't always have to get somebody else to find it for you. All right. Vocal cord videos, yes, indeed, Mike Shader. Thank you all for being here. Hey, Kim. Hey, thank you all for being here. Pete Johns is up next. Tomorrow on the show, we are going to take a look at this week is a bit of a, self-care kind of week here on this channel. We're going to take a look at cleaning your devices, removing clutter, getting rid of, opening up space so you've got more room to do things. I'm going to do it right in front of you. I'm going to take this bloody iPad. Look at this iPad. It's got pages and 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 pages of fucking apps that I don't fucking use. And you know what? I've got to get rid of them. Look at them all. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go and you're going to come and join me, and I'm going to clean some space and free the mind and free the space and feel good and feel like I have an open slate, because guess what? Songtember's coming up in only a couple of short weeks, and we're all going to be making music for Songtember. So now's a good time to start preparing and cleaning space and getting ready to create something special over September. All right, I'm out of here. Love you all. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. And remember, Joe Rogan is really just a man transitioning into a trans man, because that's what testosterone replacement therapy will do when your dad thinks you're gay. Let's Oge.